Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of AI Amigos Show. My name is Marina, and I'm very happy to be here with my two good friends, James and Chanchao. Guys, thanks for being here. How are you?
Doing
Good.
good. Welcome, everyone.
Yeah, we got 5 viewers.
Yeah.
Well, so welcome, and please feel free to interact with us. Today, we have a very exciting topic. Actually, it was going around a little bit since a couple of days ago that it launched this breaking news that now the some of the features, some of the models, and the reasoning capabilities that we can see from OpenAI are actually available now in AWS. So apparently, or it promises to be a very big change in the game, especially for databases, I would say. So I will just throw the ball here, and I will ask guys, what do you think that will be different from now on?
About the AWS, I think that one of the things is significant when they joined the AWS is not really the model. It has been they never able to offer any models in the AWS community. Basically, people can't use it. If you wanted to use the OpenAI, you have to connect to their API. But
Mhm.
from a business standpoint of view, I know a lot of businesses running AI stuff and all that, and AWS kind of handle the policy and all that, which is helpful for business to providing AI capability to other customer, right? And if you go into the OpenAI's own kind of policy, it's very blurry. So it's kind of hard to, if you are kind of developing products and sell to the third party is very hard. So AWS has been doing a lot of that for small business. That's their business model. So I think that's the main kind of difference in the AWS side.
Well, something that for me it is hard to imagine is, how we could get the reasoning that we can see, but the reasoning or the logic that we can see from OpenAI, integrated. Because when we think, for example, about Python, for instance, and we are coding and we have some suggestions. Okay, so then, you start typing whatever library, and then it suggests, okay, so then this is what you want to do, or this is what you want to say, or with a copilot. So and I will ask this because of course I'm not like a super expert in AWS environment. So do you think that it would work something like that, giving suggestions as you go, or as you are working, or as you are creating, I don't know, maybe new database? So how can you envision that it could actually be a positive impact for the user?
I think it's a model in the Bedrock. It's not really
It's
using.
not really totally integrated.
No, it's not
Oh,
integrated in
no.
AWS. It's so in AWS we have this thing called Bedrock. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a list of models you can use. So in there you have Claude.
Claude.
That's their
Claude.
main one. Yeah, and all the AWS model and some other labs. So the significance of this is people can actually use OpenAI stuff now inside the Bedrock. That's their service. When they're the AWS have their own thing called Q, which is kind of assistant on the side. You can, if you have issue or something, they can answer it. You can ask a Q. It kind of tell you the documentation you should look at about error and all that sort of stuff. So it's not really directly integrated, but it's very good to see. Like we can use OpenAI stuff, and then this two models is not like full capability, but they're open weight. You can train them, and that's the significant. Finally, the OpenAI is open now.
Yeah. Truly open.
So then
Yeah.
I believe that the OpenAI in the end is kind of the big winner of this joining forces, because of
Yeah,
course, like they are getting some data to train the model, which is actually what is lacking in the market, right?
Yeah, I mean, like Musk said before, right? It says OpenAI is supposed to be open in the one closed, private, and for profit. Now they just said, okay, we release some off there. You guys can use. Yeah,
Yes.
But it's not the full version, though, right? I mean, it's
no,
yeah,
nowhere
exactly.
near the worst.
And
They were saying
you don't have to use an API key now. It's just straight in. You just select the model on Bedrock, and then wherever your Bedrock AI ecosystem is in the stack, you can just basically say instead of Claude 2.5 or whatever, I'm going to go
yeah,
with OpenAI to see if that gives you any better responses.
but that's what we set up. Gemstone, we set up as a role base. So maybe other people still set up as like using secure key and all that. But yeah, it just called to the AWS now.
Well, but let's say, like, because we are mentioning, okay, this is just one part of AWS, or is a specific application that is Bedrock, but it doesn't mean that it cannot extend in the future. I mean, we can see that the companies in general, they are exploiting the use of agents now. And I have seen this a lot with the startups, right? So then all these startups that they started building a product, and then they just switch or try to go towards the direction of saying, okay, so then we are offering, agents or agentic models. They are doing much better because of the hype that is in the industry. And I can see that in AI, we have different waves all the time. Like, let's say 6 months ago, it was just generative AI. Then, now we are moving with agents. Now, okay, we need to train agents with more data. What can we do? And then we saw for the first time in very long time, as I said, the joining forces of these two big companies. Well, I would say Google has the advantage that they created their own environment and they have all the data on their own. They don't need to join anybody, like to join Gemini, even if they are working with Google Cloud.
But I mean, I was just going to say in regards to agents. Sorry, just going to say an agent really is just. You tell me if I'm wrong in this. Prompt engineering. And what I mean by that is, so instead of you going like a single shot, into the prompt, you're putting it into the system message, and you're telling it exactly what you want. Give it to me in format JSON. Don't respond with this. Don't put that. And then you make it very specific to a task. But behind all of that is an LLM.
Yes.
So it's just a prompt that goes in, and then that's called an agent. Is that not right? Am I right in thinking that?
Well, actually, it's one of the way to look at it. Because the thing is, we are connecting the agent only with generative AI, that we are going towards text, but the agents are kind of the basis of AI in general, if we remember that. So then, you can actually extrapolate this to robotics, or something like that. And it is not only, for the text. Now, the way that the companies are using this, yes, for sure. So then they are using the LLMs. Something that really gets my attention so much, and I was in a discussion recently, with a technical person about this, was how OpenAI actually created something so big. Because we always say what they have done is perfect, but actually, well, I wouldn't say perfect, but it's amazing, and it is the first time that humans could interact with the machines, right? But they weren't the ones who discovered the transformers. It was Google.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of they took it, and then they really work a lot on this, and they created something fantastic. And now, with this join with AWS, I really think that they are making like a very, very strong move. Well, and keep training the model, right? So then they will not disappear like at all from the map. I think so.
I mean, what do you call generative AI? Has been around as long as recurrent neural networks with LSTMs, 2013, 15, somewhere around there. It's just never been on such a large, and I mean, even in GPT, the T is for transformer. Generative pre-trained transformer. So, but yeah, what I was just go back to the agents thing is the reason I'm saying is that it's like the company's selling us the same thing, but different. Does that make sense? So they put in the wrapper and say it's an agent,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still underneath the LLM that we already had access to anyway.
Yeah. The problem we see, like when you're building an application, more and more kind of complicated, is like the prompts getting really big, really a lot bigger and bigger and bigger. You waste a lot of tokens. From my experience, it's a good way to separate it out into a smaller agent. And then you're talking about intent, you're talking about the whole agent orchestration kind of framework, how to get that.
Yeah, then you have an agent that controls the agents. That tells this agent does this, this agent does
yes,
that.
like in the end, this is how it is, right? And this is how it is actually working. So then, because in general, or this is my understanding, right? So then you receive the information, you had like the different agents working on different topics, and then then you get the result. Basically, this is how it works, and this is how it transforms it. But at the same time, so something that they can think of is, okay, perfect. So now we can apply this not only, with the common uses that we just remember in let's say in software development, or when we are coding, like with the tools such as, softwares like Python, or the copilots that we have in the laptop. So then now also we can have it in the AWS environment. And again, so then the one who is actually training or getting all the information is OpenAI. So I would say it's the big winner, apart from the users, right? So then if the users see that it is actually like a good one. Sorry, I would like to mention something, guys, because I see that we have some people so here live. So feel free to throw your questions, comment, jump into the conversation. We want to interact with you guys.
And then just those two models, right? Sorry. And they released 120 billion parameter and 20 billion parameter.
Yeah.
So the 20 billion one, you literally can run on a machine with 16 gig RAM. You can run that. So that's good. Like for small agent, if you want to train it, you can train it. You can.
Do you need any kind of GPU on that, or can you run any? Do you need like an RTX or something like that on a GPUs?
Well, I use Mac, so there's kind of integrated memory, so it doesn't really matter. But probably
for non-Mac users, Linux users,
probably better to GPU.
Well, kill me, guys. I'm a Windows user, so then.
That's what I was trying to throw in there, Jinchao Linux, just so, because I know Alina doesn't do Mac nor Linux, but anyway. Yeah, so it'll work, with either one then. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And like I haven't seen anybody, like maybe someone is doing that, different agent with different small model, and different small model has fine-tuned on their data and all that. It consumes a lot of time to do that, but it's gonna be very, very efficient, and you get better results on the prompt itself and all that when you're building the agent.
Well, we talked a few weeks ago about GPT 5.0 that's coming out, ChatGPT 5.0. And one of the big things on that they're saying, which is it's another agent but basically they're saying that it's going to come with hallucination control, that that it will have less hallucinations, because basically they have an agent that checks the prompt before the output to verify that it's true or not. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but what happened if that agent hallucinates as well? So then it's really hard to control it.
It's the blind leading the blind. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
No, but any proper kind of LLM software now, you have to have agent to check. Like that's the input and that's the output. Does it hallucinate? And I remember the script this is 1.5 years ago now in Berlin. It has a hallucination check as well. That time everyone was asking, how did you do the hallucination check and all that? As I just give it to the LLM. It speaks better English than me, so he probably checks better.
And me too, Jincha, by the way. It speaks better English than me too. Faster.
Yes, no, and that's totally right. So then, what I wonder now is, how can they, like, something that it really gets my attention, no? Like now that we said, okay, with AWS, OpenAI is finally open. It is turning the model, as the user is actually using the data, and then you create an agent, controlling the agent stuff.
Mhm.
What will happen next? So I mean, and what happens with the regulations, right? So then, can you actually give up the data, or they are only extracting the insights?
But that's where the open model comes in, right? Why they give the open model and why AWS is taking it in the Bedrock kind of service, because I know we're going through that with research with the cloud departments in AWS, kind of about about Bedrock, about the LLM. Their policies, they don't use your data to train anything. Whatever is you used as is private. So that's why a lot of kind of, if you do business with a larger customer, probably you need that. That's the first question they ask you: providing an AI kind of software where my data lands. So those are kind of guaranteed, I think, from cloud uh, providers.
Well, so then it should be. So then my question here would be, then what is AWS getting out of all of this? So then I assume that it must be like less work for them, because when
Yeah.
you read all the description of Bedrock, it says, okay, so then you have serverless experience, and you are incorporating so everything that you are working on into agentic workflows. So then at some point it must relieve some tasks from them. Otherwise, I don't really get like why would they actually accept to move forward with that?
Uh, the AWS, the Bedrock is kind of like an open router, if kind of a place hosting all the LLM. The AWS make money on infrastructure.
Yeah.
They're slightly different than Google and Microsoft, right? Microsoft has a big 365 to make money. Google has the other stuff, but AWS is basically you running the service, you make money from the server you run. That's the money coming from. So because this is the open model, so nobody hosting it, you can run from Hugging Face as well. That's the same thing, and they just hosting it, and they probably have tighter regulation about the data itself. I guess I haven't seen it yet. This is very new, very new, right?
I know. And then we are here super hard with the, questions and wondering. We need to actually give it a go, right? But yes, I'm just thinking, and something that amazes me is, how far we are reaching, and, what would be the next steps of AI. Recently, I've been to an interview, and then the person asked me, okay, so what are the skills that you think that the person would need in 2 or 3 years to keep working with AI? And then my honest answer is, I think that nobody can really know. So then you have to be open to innovate. You have to be open to, try and maybe make mistakes. And probably, if you have access to data, that's even better. But I don't really think that the skills that you need to actually deploy AI or working in any of the routes that AI is offering is the same as it was like 10 years ago. I
And
don't
we'll
really
have
think
super
so.
intelligence. We're gonna have super intelligence. We're not gonna have to think anymore. We're gonna
Ah,
have AI thinking for us.
come on. Well, that's already happening sometimes, when you do like a Google search and you just see, like the answer right away with Gemini integrated.
Just
Yeah,
go,
it's
yes.
go large and go small. The both sides right now. Like I was trying something you can run on your phone. I have a 12 gig of RAM, so it's okay to run the model. There's an application, I forgot what's the name. You can run 1.5 billion to 3 billion. No problem. I see a year time, probably you run a lot bigger model on your phone. It's probably integrated on the hardware itself, right?
Well,
But
Or
let's
integrated to your brain, like, okay,
Mm.
directly. As you know, what is happening with the social media now, that according to whatever you're checking, or whatever you're talking to your friends, or whatever you have some suggestions, and some people say, oh, how come AI can read what I'm thinking of? They read my mind. And it's like, no, guys, AI is not reading your mind, it's following the pattern. So probably another person who was talking about the same topic, they search or they look for something similar to that.
Well, I was going to say Apple is on their iPhone. They're saying that they're going to run the AI locally on their phone. I mean, that was the first thing they said they were going to run on the phone, and that if it got too intense, that because that was the whole thing is it's not going to run off their cloud, but if the phone couldn't handle it, that it would send some of it to the cloud and then back to the phone.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's today. So imagine what's going to happen. And even now, like Meta's allowing you to use. When I saw something online, Meta's allowing people who are applying for a developer job to use AI in the interview.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, so then I don't really see something bad in that logic, right? So nobody really learns all the coding by heart, in fairness. I even remember, James, in one of the classes when we were students, we were studying big data, and the lecturer said, at that time there was not OpenAI, right? So then, but people were talking like, oh, but what if you search on Google? And the lecturer said something like, guys, if Google didn't exist, I would have quit already. I wouldn't have a job. So I'm always checking on Google what to do because I don't remember everything by heart. It's not possible.
yeah, well, you don't memorize. Yeah, you don't memorize the
Exactly.
syntax as such. But yeah, you go and you have to have the underlying knowledge and logic.
Absolutely, 100%. But this is the point. So then, anyway, there are things that you are looking for. For example, I don't know. So I know when I understand the logic of certain coding, let's say with NLP, or when we have to do the stemming or lemmatization, whatever. Like I understand that part, and I understanding what part of the code I am. But there are things that maybe if I have to code everything from scratch, maybe I don't remember everything exactly. So then you follow, all the logic. You have the knowledge to actually give interpretation, understand whether it is correct or not. So then I don't see why in an interview they couldn't actually use it if they already know the basis. I mean, I don't really think that the interview for Meta would be easy. Anyway.
Oh, no, I'm not saying I'm not either for it or against it. I'm just saying I saw that recently in the news. But equally, you have to have that knowledge, as you're saying there, because if you don't have the knowledge, then or the understanding the basis, because lots of times you do the code, and we talked about this before. It's a child saying about where it comes back and says, "Nice catch."
Yeah.
Oh, well spotted.
Certainly, you are right.
It is 100%. Like I mean, I use vibe coding a lot, even in personal projects and all that. And then the two biggest issue with vibe coding is you can't really use on a large project. You can only use on a large project when you continue on it. The next thing you open a new chat, if you don't have the proper structure of documentation, it just forgot where it is, and then doing something different.
Sounds like me at work, Chincho.
So,
like if you have the knowledge in work, yeah, I don't see why not, because a lot of the tech knowledge, right, when you're interviewing, if you know the right question to ask, that's what you're basically doing every day. Go on open stack before, right, checking the stuff, how they do things. That's the old days, but that's the same thing. You can ask a Gemini or OpenAI, ChatGPT for it.
So I would like to remind our viewers that you can actually throw some comment or question or wade into the conversation.
They don't want to, you
they don't want. They just want to listen to us. No, but seriously, like if you want to mention something, feel free to do so, and we will do our best to answer you guys.
We speak 3 languages. There's Chinese, there's Spanish, and English. So but typing anything.
You speak simplified Chinese, don't you, Jinsha, as well?
Oh, of course. The sound is the same, just writing is a bit different.
Yeah. Okay.
Pronunciation is the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so then, how do you train the models then if the writing is different? Chan.
What is that?
Oh, it picks up on that.
No, the writing
it catches like Spanish from Argentina, from Mexico, something like that.
Casi.
So guys, now that you mentioned this about certainly, I would like to wait like a little anecdote here. I remember when everything started with OpenAI and people started having ChatGPT on the phone. My sister asked me, what do you think about ChatGPT being a kind of psychologist or therapist? And then I said, well, I will be careful because you are giving all your private information and live to the server
Yeah.
right away. And then she told me something, oh no, but like I feel it helped me so much. It helped me more than 1 month of therapy with a psychologist, blah blah. And she was so excited about that, right? And then after a while using it, let's say like a month or 2 or 3 or something like that, it was like a very short period of time. She even posted on Instagram like a little quote that she told ChatGPT, in the chat, you are always telling me what I want to hear. I think that you are not being honest with me. And the reply was, I understand your frustration, and if you need some time, I also understand that, but I'm always here for you, something like this. And my sister just like posted it, and just with the comment like, I think we just broke up, or I think we are breaking
You're
up.
dumb.
And this is where we said about this, whenever you don't really know, whenever it is actually telling you something that it's in the reasoning or in the logic, or it is what the user wants to listen, right?
What they
So
want to hear, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it happens the same with the coding. So as you said, John, you can ask a question, but then like you get an answer, and maybe the answer is wrong, and when you spot like, oh, but I don't really think this is correct, oh, you are right, let me do this again,
Yeah.
let me review this for you.
Let me rewrite it wrong in a different way. That's basically what it does.
The other side is like, I don't know if people can handle the truth, What if you come back, you dumbass, why did you do that? You're like, I'm not paying for this shit now.
Jeez,
Right?
do you have like the unfiltered version, Jinsha? The free
This is
that comes on the free version, right? It talks to you, you idiot.
right? Oh my god. Upgrade to be polite. Okay, upgrade.
Well, something like this, I wouldn't hesitate, that it could actually work like that. If you upgrade, you will have like a whatever you want to hear. It's like you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
A
but
good
talking
friend of
about
mine told me that.
yeah, but talking about upgrade, like it seems like 200 euro for subscription seems like a norm this day now.
Yeah.
You see, a lot of models company offer 200 euro ones. Like remember, it first came out, it was like what? And then the OpenAI dropped the bomb as 2,000 or something. But I don't know.
But 2000, it's
All of a
already a
sudden,
lot.
the 200 became cheap. All of a sudden, the 200 is cheap.
Yeah, and like I was looking into Perplexity, they have 200 euro one, and I think
Yeah.
Google has 200 euro one as well, or something like that. They all have the option for 200.
Yeah, they have the 200. Yeah, yeah.
And
And
then
then now they're starting to limit the number of prompts, or which model you can use over a period of time.
yeah, exactly. I know the news were talking about Claude. A lot of users wasn't happy because they put it in, they pay for the 200 euro one, but they still get limits on certain things on time or something. And yeah, Jesus, the inflation in in Gen AI as well.
Well,
I gotta
people
pay
don't
for
really
all the
want to
startup.
think, right? So it's like, okay, how much do you pay to get someone like doing the job for you? No, but seriously, and guys, for real, I still believe that it's an amazing tool, and there are many things coming forward. All this, situation with AWS and OpenAI joining forces, I think it is pretty new. But in some time not very far away, I think that we will see some comments, some experience, some reviews, and maybe we can touch this topic again in a couple of weeks to see how it is going.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Well, there'll be more stuff out in a couple of weeks as well. I saw right now GPT 5.0, at least in the States, is released to everyone. So let's see.
Ooh.
Hopefully we get this here in the next, because we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but it hasn't been released. So maybe by next time. And then Jinsha, you were saying we could talk in the next couple of weeks in regards to what Google's releasing as well. Aren't they releasing something new?
Yeah, I think so.
It's incredible. It's incredible how many things are happening at the same time.
Yeah, I just like to see all those big companies start to eating up those small companies now. Small startups have an idea, like learning platform, videos, audio, all that. The Google is throwing out there like really quickly.
Well, but at the same time, something that I realized, because and now I'm very involved in the startup world. there is a lot of interest in having AI startups or startups that are developing some AI products, because the expectation of these giant companies is that the startups, maybe they create something that for them it could be, like a kind of a lot of money and resources to build on their own, and then they just buy the idea. That's
Yeah,
it.
and then me and James actually talked about it last week about one of the startup called Wingsurf or something. This
Yeah.
is a kind of coding company, right? And
Those were the guys working in India, wasn't it?
no, this is legit, and their story is basically like a drama, and then like OpenAI is trying to buy this company, but OpenAI had a
Oh, that's right.
sign a contract with Microsoft. You can't have buying anything and kind of against their product, which is Copilot. So OpenAI signed with Microsoft, so they can't buy this company, and then the Google trying to buy it as well. It says Google offered, I don't want to buy the company. I want to buy the 40 engineers and then your co-founder. I give you the money and then you work for us. So basically leave the other 200 employees on his own, just buy the engineer and buy 2 billion or something. This is never heard of in a small company exit strategy. Just buy the employees.
No, but seriously, I have seen this happening, and I don't really think it is actually a bad idea, because like for them it's cheaper than actually having. Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. A lot of them is a wrapper, and then prompt engineering seems to be a real and very elevated kind of technology now. Like really, like if you know how to prompt correctly, integrated with programming, it's really a lot of making a killing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Okay,
guys.
I was going to say one last thing, or you can go Mark Zuckerberg's way and pay a developer $200 million. So you saw that 24-year-old, he paid him $200 million.
Yeah, I'm 1/10 of the value. Anybody hire me, I can.
I'm available.
I'm available.
I'm available. Where to sign, guys?
20 million in Jin Shao, he's yours.
I'm here, ready to fly.
Guys, it was amazing talking to you. We're reaching to the end of our episode, but as always, it was a pleasure. Thank you to our audience. Thank you for listening to us live. And if you have any other question, afterwards, or if you want us that we talk about some topic or anything, feel free to follow us on Instagram, AI Amigos Show. Contact us and let us know. So then we really would like to know your opinion and talking to you.
Thanks.
Yeah, and next week we have a surprise, right?
Big time. You weren't supposed to say that, Jin Shao.
Okay.
Guys, thank you so much, and see you next week.
All right. See you guys.